What, you never seen a brother come out of an interdimensional wormhole before? Time is merely a concept, a state of mind. And it's time. Time to get black, y'all. Greetings, salutations, and Obama-style fist bumps. It's your guy, Craig Robinson, reporting live from my cabin of solitude. I decided to set up shop here while the world chills out. I had to get off the grid for a while. But when the boy, Brandon Drew Jordan Pierce, called and asked me to pilot this hypothetical twin-engine jumbo jet of epic black excellence, I gladly welcome the opportunity and the cameras into my world. Now this season, we've got connections mapped out all across this black planet. Speaking of Black Planet, if anyone knows how to get my old Black Planet profile taken down, I still can't seem to get it deleted. It's time to put username Craig Robbins a snob with the prop 2345 to rest. Know what I'm saying? Back to the show. This season, we'll be traveling from Houston to Brooklyn, Africa to Japan, and telling stories of all types of places, spaces, and black folks that are changing perceptions of black potential and accomplishment on a daily basis. Oh, and it turns out for this episode, the ladies do run this mother, because we're starting this season off with an all-female roster today. So let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey, Leon, play something I can get my read on to.
Before we even get to that, you gotta set up the first segment, dawg.
Thanks, Leon, my personal black smart home device. This cabin life got me off my game for a second.
Happens to the best of us, Brother Craig.
The great orator, Lavelle William Crump, famously known as David Banner, once said, "Stunting is a habit. Get like me." Well, our first guest takes that quite literally. As a rarity in Hollywood, black female stuntwoman Jazzy Ellis is cementing herself as a go-to artist, not just because she's black or female, but because she's real good at what she does. Her IMDb actually gave me whiplash when I read it. She's worked on The Suicide Squad, Lovecraft Country, The Walking Dead, Avengers Infinity War, Bad Boys for Life, and my personal favorite, Hot Tub Time Machine 2, which I hear is strongly being considered for the Criterion Collection. But with all that said, let's let her stunt. Your attention, please. Meet Jazzy Ellis.
I've been a warrior, a zombie, a witch, a mercenary, an evil nun, a special ops soldier, and I was once tackled by Jason Statham. I'm Jazzy Ellis, and I'm a professional stunt actor. There are not enough women and people of color doing stunts, so if you want to do it, do it. I'll help. I'll tell you what it takes. But first, stunting is dangerous. Don't try this at home, talk to your doctor if stunting is right for you, yada, yada, yada. There's no one way to be a stunt person. The best I can do is tell you the path I took and tell you to make it your own. So, let's see. Step 1, you have to break it to your parents that you're not going to be a doctor. I know now that I made the right choice, and to their credit, my parents are my biggest supporters. Actually, before you dash your loved one's hopes for you, make sure you can move. If you're gonna be the person being thrown through a door, you have to know how to make it look painful when it isn't. I mean, usually it isn't. Anyway, I started taking ballet when I was 3. If you're not 3, that's okay, it's never too late to start. I also did jazz dancing, gymnastics, and break dancing, so you've got options. I was actually really shy as a kid, and dancing helped me learn to love performing as long as I was part of a group. And that's tip number 3. Get yourself a squad. This is not optional. I would not be where I am today without the many people who supported me. People like my mentor, Angela Merrill. I would literally call her once a week. She always got back to me when I needed advice from an experienced black woman in the industry. Do you know it used to be standard practice to put men in wigs to be stunt doubles for women? or that white stunt performers would be painted down, basically put in blackface. Do not draw that. To double for actors of color. The excuse was always that producers and directors couldn't find women or people of color. I've worked really hard so that they don't have that excuse anymore. 5 years ago, there were probably 5 black stunt women in Atlanta, which is a major film location. But now there's about 50, because now there's a need. And there's a need because we've proven ourselves. And I'm proud to be part of that. I was a high school math and special education teacher in New Orleans. I loved the creativity and energy of New Orleans, but I wasn't a part of it. So I started doing martial arts. I met some stunt performers in my martial arts class, and one of them, my dear friend John Bernacker, said, "You could be a stunt performer. There are no black stunt women here. You could be the black stunt woman in Louisiana." I was like, what? For my very first training with John, he wanted me to understand what it really felt like to be a pro stunt person. Remember how I said stunting is dangerous? It takes training with professionals to do it safely. John made sure I was learning how to properly fall into a flat back and a taco. Well, some people call it a tiger. I guess you kind of start off like a tiger and then end up like a taco. Oh yeah, get ready to learn a new language. When a stunt coordinator says, make sure you have your jerk vest, I know it'll be a fun day, because that means a day of flying, maybe even explosions. Yes! I specialize in wire work, and for that, I need a jerk vest. It helped me fly 40 feet across the set of Godzilla King of the Monsters. It also helped me fall 50 feet for a scene in Lovecraft Country. Oh, I can't name the movie, it's coming out this year. But for that one, I got to fall 100 feet from the ceiling. Flying, explosions, monster lizards, I guess tip number, what are we on now? 5? 5. Have a sense of adventure. Even though this was who I was before I became a stunt person, I didn't realize that this was who I wanted to be until the option was right in front of me. So I dove in and trained nonstop for 3 months. Hold up, it takes more than 3 months to learn to be a stunt person. I was already an expert in movement and defying gravity. I networked a lot and had the whole right place, right time thing working for me. On that note, stay ready, so you can say yes to the right opportunities when they come your way. As a stunt performer, you're an athlete and an artist. Take care of your most important tool of the trade, yourself. People say YOLO, I say yo go. You only get one. You only get one body, so treat it with care. My goal is to be an action star someday. Pam Grier started it, but there still aren't enough women doing it today. And I'm pretty sure it's not for lack of trying. There are a lot of cool female characters waiting to come to life. I'm ready to be like the female Luke Cage, a badass black woman who saves her community. So, if you're ready to be like Jazzy Ellis, find something to be your thing. Do you ride horses? Are you an amazing grappler? Are you like a parkour champion? Find a thing you can do and do it well. Be ready to fall over and over. Literally, you'll have to do like 28 takes of one fall. Believe in yourself. And if someone asks if Jason Statham can tackle you, say yes.
How'd they find me out here? I thought I was in the cut. I'm not entirely sure Jazzy has the right name, y'all, because she is clearly a rock star. And not like waiting room at the dance off for South Sleepy Rock. I'm talking heavy metal, sold out arena rock. Jazzy, I'll see you on set. Oh yeah, Craig, nobody knows where that cabin is. Oh, it's a cabin, they said. No one will find me, they said. Well, they did find me. I gotta go get this wop. Warm ass pastry. Whew. Traffic was crazy. Never should have left the cabin. But I needed these pastries. Okay, let me break down a hypothetical here. Let's say there was a secret lab, and in that lab there was a human hybridization chamber. Now, into that chamber walks a cop, a quarterback, and a national champion. The scientist at the lab presses a button, lots of stuff happens, all right? The scientist opens the door, and out walks our next subject, Jennifer King, who just so happens to have been a cop, a quarterback, and a national champion, and is now the first African-American woman to be a full-time NFL assistant coach as part of the Washington football team staff. There's nothing left to do now but sit back, relax, and hike. Your attention, please. Meet Jennifer King.
I think football kind of touches all my senses. You know, I have a routine I like to do. I like to smell the ball before the game. You know, I like to have it in my hands and smell the leather. It's just something I've always done from when I was playing. I still do it as a coach as well. You know, the sounds of football, it's so many different sounds, from the pads hitting each other and the communication going on between the offense and the defense. Oh man, I love football. One of my biggest personal mantras is just be so good that you can't be denied. We're all here to do really great things and not sell yourself short. I'm from a small town, so a lot of people get locked into that small town mentality. So I think it's so important to dream and have goals. My earliest memories playing football was in the backyard, with the neighbors, my friends from school, at PE. We used to get it in. My mom, she shut it down with me playing at a really early age, probably around 8 or so. She told me I couldn't play because I would get hurt, even though I wasn't afraid because I've been playing, tackling in the backyard. The high school coaches knew that I could play because of PE. Just playing with the guys were actually on the team, and just being able to throw the ball and catch the ball piqued their interest. When I wasn't able to play organized football anymore, I really watched a lot. I went to all the games, all the middle school games. That's kind of when it started, when, guys were able to play on the real teams and I wasn't able to play anymore. But I find a way to get out there. I've been playing football now for 12 seasons. I started in Carolina with the Carolina Phoenix. I was there for 10 seasons and was able to win a national championship. And then last season I was here in DC. I played with the DC Divas. I've had a lot of jobs. I was a volunteer assistant. I sold insurance for a while. I sold knives for a while. I was a police officer. When I worked as a police officer, you meet a lot of great people, but it's usually in bad situations, unfortunately. So you really learn how to deal with the emotions of things. And obviously sports can become very emotional. Once I discovered football was kind of my passion, and I was able to coach. I could combine two things that I love, football and coaching. So I think once I started doing those two things, it kind of happened organically, and I started building relationships that helped me get to the NFL. I was coaching middle school, high school, college basketball, and I was recruiting on the road in Atlanta. I'll never forget, I was in a hotel room, and Sam Rappaport, she does amazing things with the league as far as, diversity. I reached out to her, just let her know who I was. She connected me with Scott Pioli, and then that was kind of that moment I knew I wanted to be in the NFL. I found a way to connect with Coach Rivera at the Women's Coaching Forum, so I kind of made sure I had a moment to let him know I was next door, and that's kind of started everything. When I found out that Coach Rivera had offered me this position, obviously I was super excited. A lot of hard work had really paid off for me.
What up, Coach King?
Chilling. What's good with you?
I was calling you about 19 Wizard. What look you think we're going to get on that play?
We probably going to get a 9. Could get a 7, so just make sure, if it's wild, we're not going to get out there, so make sure you press it, take your read, and just run through the smoke with good ball security, man. So we probably not going to get all the way outside. You're going to have to cut it up inside.
Mandatory.
All right, I'll see you. I think some of my strongest attributes as a coach, especially with the guys, is just being able to build those relationships. Some of those same leadership qualities that I have while playing, I think some of those have helped me coaching as well. Typical days for us, they're long. A lot of coaches work long hours. We get in when it's dark, we leave when it's dark. A lot of my role, I make a bunch of cut-ups for our guys for the week. I make matchup tapes versus the potential guys that we're gonna face in one-on-one situations. Oh man, sleep's a premium during the season, If you can find a way to grab like 5 or 6 hours, you're doing pretty good. I do feel like I'm making an impact. We watch a lot of film, a lot of tape, and to try to give our guys any type of advantage that they can get, and any message you can share with them, and then to see it happen on Sundays is really special. That's coaching in general, is to put the work in, and then to see it evolve in a real game has always been special. I talked all the time about making sure we chasing goals and chasing our passions outside of the sport. This moment for them, it's such a small part of their lives. Having those plans and those goals for them. They have, goals outside of football and things that they want to get done. So it's cool to hear their ambitions and things that they want to do after the game's over for them. To be the first Black female full-time NFL coach is, it's cool. I take it seriously as far as being a good mentor and role model for the generation behind us, because now that there's females in the NFL, it's only gonna be more, so it's important for us to do a good job. It is important to have just a different voice there, and that's all about, diversity. To be able to work in football is unbelievable. Like, I get paid to work in football, and I get to do something I love every single day, and it makes it worth it. When you're working 15 hours, it's kind of like you asked for this. I say that to myself all the time, but athletics and sports are my passion. It's something growing up I always loved. It was kind of my happy place whenever I could play a sport. Even if it was just by myself in the backyard, with the football or basketball, I was happy. Absolutely love it. It's super hard to explain that feeling, before you take the court or take the field before a game. I still get that feeling now, even coaching. We're walking through the tunnel to go out into a stadium of 70,000 people, even though it's empty now, it's still just a feeling, it's a rush. I think it's why it's hard to get away from it. Once you feel it, you want to keep feeling it again. I'm Jennifer King. I'm an offensive assistant with the Washington football team.
I'd say Jennifer has a bright future out in Chocolate City, y'all. And Riverboat Ron better be careful, because she's coming for his spot.
Yeah, what's up, Craig?
What?
You was talking all that trash during the segment, dawg.
Look, man, I'm just trying to host the show here, all right?
You gonna learn today. I should be hosting the show anyway. I'm the man around here.
Dude, I'm not trying to. Who you think you are? This is my show. Didn't I tell you not to come over here?
Man, I didn't know you had hands like that.
It's hot out here. I need a sports drink.
Yo, my bad, Craig. He tripping, man. You know I wouldn't trip. We cool? All right, peace.
Our final profile believes that data is king. Looks like I need to change my name to Data, because
I is king.
Data is what led Asma Ahmed to discover her invention, Plum Perfect, a mobile technology that allows the user to submit a photo selfie, which is then analyzed and recommends makeup products that work for your complexion. If my assistant is watching, I need you to order 10 of these for all the Black queens in my life, but don't tell them it's a surprise. But I'm saying this on a TV show. Whatever, it's the thought that counts. And thinking is just what Asma has built her reputation on. Let's get into it. Your attention, please. Meet Asma Ahmed.
Building this culture of inclusion, it starts with us. Forget the fancy titles. When I think about what I do, I think I am a builder. My name is Asma Ahmed. It's spelled A-S-M-A-U. It's pronounced U-S-M-A. The last U is silent. I am a mother. I am an engineer. I am a businesswoman, a do-gooder, an eternal optimist, and I'm definitely a risk taker. I am an immigrant. I am Muslim. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I founded a company called Plum Perfect. a beauty tech company that uses a shopper selfie to serve her with hyper-personalized beauty recommendations, particularly relevant now in COVID times. You can still get that perfect foundation or lipstick from the comfort of home with a selfie. I always had a love for the sciences, and I was pretty good at math. And I remember when my mother turned our laundry room into a chemistry lab for me. Parents just always made me believe I was a lot smarter than I actually am. I was the first amongst my siblings to decide to leave the country to go study. I grew up in Nigeria. I was born in Lagos. I decided that I was going to leave and start school in January, and I got into Grove City College, north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I remember one of the matrons of the dorms telling me to be careful going into town. You know, there was concern for my safety. I never once in college thought about race. I was in school, I was getting good grades. I was insulated from the reality of what it is to live as a Black woman in the United States of America. My first job, I was a process engineer for the sulfuric acid and the adipic acid plants. What I loved doing even back then, you know, people called it automations. It's building digital operations, building digital businesses. And I remembered I was always trying to find a way to make things more efficient. How many Black people were there? So it was me and Will. We were the largest users of natural gas along the East Coast. This was a huge chemical plant, and I'm telling you how many Black people there were. I went into this job, same mentality as I did going into anything that I approached at that point in my life, which was that I was going to excel. I had this boss, and it became very quickly apparent that he didn't like me. And that was the first time, really, that I realized, okay, it doesn't really matter who I am, what I do, what my aspirations are, how much value I can be. People can make up their mind in an instant. So this is fast forwarding way, like many, many years. I have 2 kids. I have a son that's now 10 years old and a daughter that's 6 years old. When my son, Zachary, was 3, he was diagnosed as being moderately autistic. The pivotal moment came. It was a Sunday. It was on the Upper West Side. Zachary and I typically had mother-son dates. I was waiting to hail a taxi, and all of a sudden, my son, the black of his eyes just rolled backwards. All I could see was white, and he started spinning. And I could tell that he had lost control. I remember looking around in panic, and as soon as another mom came up to me, he stopped, and he seemed like he was seemingly okay. And it was in that moment that I knew that my experience as a mother was not going to be anything like I had envisioned it would be. I watched my son struggle to be included in schools, in camps, in playgroups. He literally had no friends. And so the idea initially began as me setting up space in my home where I would gather a group of kids based on a common interest. That could be soccer, it could be homework. And quickly that idea expanded, thinking even further about my own experiences. Just being a woman, being Black, being a mother of a child that is special has only just amplified my desire for inclusion. Even with the diagnosis and everything that came with it, all of the uncertainty, all of the questions, I thought, no one's going to label my child and we are going to tackle this head on. So I built a diversity meter. Think of a meter that measures the diversity of your network. So if you think back at the experience that I was hoping to create for my son, that network effect would have automatically created that environment. I want a different world for my children than the one that I'm having to navigate now. I want my daughter to go into work every day just being who she is. Like, I wish I could just go in and do what I love to do, which is build digital businesses that do well and do good, and just focus on innovating and not have to worry about my gender or my race. When I was, CEO of Plum Perfect, I didn't go in thinking of myself as a Black woman CEO. I went in as a CEO, period. Success for me will be striking that balance between doing well and doing good. Doing well, getting to that point where I am paid what I am worth, doing good, ensuring the impact is far-reaching, well beyond me.
Impressive would not do justice for how I feel about what I just watched. Asma, keep showing the techies how we get down on this side. And on that note, that's all the time we have for today. I'll be here for the foreseeable future, so come back soon because there are way more stories to unearth. So in the meantime, don't forget to find what you love, share it with the world, and scream from the mountaintop, "Your attention, please!" Wormhole don't fail me now. What's up, y'all? Thanks for watching Your Attention, Please, hosted by yours truly. As always, make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories of Black excellence. See you next time.